mention them, but I thank you very much for coming, except I did see some of the Blount County contingent, Doug and Bob Ramsey, who grew up across the street from me. I thank them especially for coming. Susan Williams, the former state chairman, is here. Randy McNally mentioned, or Jimmy did, that I had the support of all the former living state chairmen. I appreciate that, but if the race gets close, I'm going to dig up those who aren't living, and I'm going to walk all the way back across the state if it takes it, because I can still do it. Peggy Lambert's here, who is our national committee woman. We're very proud of her. Ambassador Ash is here. We're delighted to have him here. And there's some members of the state executive committee: Ken Gross, Rob Ailey, Karen Brown, Ted Hatfield, Bill and June Landrum. You know, the state executive committee is really important. A lot of states, Republican Party is in shambles. Ours is terrific because of what Jimmy Duncan said. We keep an open door, and the open door has said to people who voted for Barry Goldwater and Ronald Reagan and the Moral Majority and Ross Perot and the Tea Party, everybody, come on in. We want you here. And what's happened? We've gotten bigger, more successful, more conservative, and we're providing this state with very good government. So I appreciate the work of the state executive committee. Now, I won't speak a long time, but I did want to say a couple of things. The stakes are high this year, and the election's not very far away. The early voting starts in about 3.5 weeks. And here are the stakes. There are a couple of Democrats who want to take this Senate seat. Notice I didn't say my Senate seat. It's Tennessee's Senate seat. Howard Baker had the privilege of sitting in the desk I sit in. Fred Thompson had that privilege. Now I've got that privilege. But there are a couple of Democrats who want to take that desk. And you know the first thing they'll do if they win, if they get it. They're going to pick it up. They're going to go over there to the Republican side of the aisle in the Senate. They're going to pick up that desk, and they're going to haul it over there and set it down right next to Harry Reid. And they're going to make it one vote easier for Barack Obama to cancel your insurance, raise your taxes, and take over your schools. And we're not going to let them do that. We're going to turn it around on them. We're going to pick up 6 on their side. We're going to move it over to the Republican side. We're going to get a Republican majority in the United States Senate and start moving this country in the direction that it ought to go. Now, a couple of years later, we'll really move it if we do a good job governing, and we'll elect a Republican president, and then we'll have a chance to get there. I have a pretty good chance, I think, to be in that majority, but I'm taking nothing for granted. Now, Hank Dye and Margaret said they would carry the precinct at Kensal Springs, and I'm going to check on it. And I'm going to see if we do. Harry, I'm counting on you in your precinct, and I know a lot of you know how to carry your precinct, so I want you to know I'm not taking this election for granted, and I don't want you to either. I'm here today to ask for your actual help on Election Day, which is coming up very, very, very soon. This has been a pretty good week for our campaign. I was endorsed by the National Right to Life Committee. I appreciate that. I hope I earned it. Got a 100% rating with National Right to Life, and I was endorsed by the National Federation of Independent Businesses, NFIB. I went out to West Stowers Machinery Shop in Knoxville yesterday, and we had a little ceremony about that. And this is what I said. I said, I should be endorsing you because you represent what I want to be in the Senate for. And you can't be pro-jobs and anti-business, which is the way the Obama administration is. They undermine the right to work law. They put Obamacare regulations on business people. They mandate a certain level of wages. They raise taxes. One small businessman in Tennessee told me that every time he thought about hiring somebody, he looked at that future employee as a liability. He said, I hate that. He said, I want to look at an employee as an asset. What we need to do is lift the big, wet blanket of Obama rules and regulations off our free enterprise system and let it start creating jobs and raising family incomes the way Republicans know how to do. I've suggested that the president might want to take a drive down to Mount Vernon, which is George Washington's home. George Washington could have been anything. He could have stayed forever, but he imprinted his character and modesty on our Constitution and created checks and balances, the number one of which is the Congress elected by the people. President Obama, who used to teach constitutional history, apparently didn't read that part of the Constitution. I mean, he's already appointed more czars than the Romanovs had. He's changed his own health care law so much he'll probably be invited to speak at the next Republican convention. He did all that without even checking with Congress, who are the ones that are supposed to pass it. He makes recess appointments when the Senate's not in recess, and I'm doing my best to keep him from creating a national school board for 100,000 public schools. As governor, I worked with Ronald Reagan to try to get Washington completely out of our public schools. As senator, I spent a lot of time trying to keep President Obama from creating a national school board. Washington just can't keep its sticky fingers off our schools. And I'm fighting to send those decisions about teachers in schools back to parents and back to states and back to local school boards where those decisions belong. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for being here. I thank Jimmy Duncan for being such a great American citizen and for chairing this campaign. I thank Randy for presiding and introducing every single one of you. Many of you have been friends for a long, long time. But I ask you to please focus on this election in the next few weeks. Let's take nothing for granted. I'm not going to take it for granted. I've been all across this state. I've spent the last couple of years. I've never lost touch. I spend more nights in Tennessee than I do in Washington, D.C. I know who my bosses are. And a lot of them are right here today. So I hope you'll go out and talk to the rest of them and give me a chance to go back and be a part of that new Republican majority in the United States Senate, and let's get this country headed in a more conservative direction as we all want it to be. Thank you very much.